or holding long positions.
Ashok Leyland is interesting because it was one of the biggest F&O gainers in yesterday's session as well. The stock was up nearly 12% and it's corrected nearly 28% from its highs that it had in February 2026. So from 211, it's come down to almost 144 and then bounced back yet again. Parag bhai, any view, because the sales growth in the second half has been very strong for Ashok Leyland, and that is giving you a tailwind for the entire CV pack as a whole as well, because Tata Motors CV was also up 10%. Shriram Chola Finance, the NBFCs, who have high exposure to CV also have been buzzing. So how are you looking at the entire CV pack?
So as we had discussed, at around 400, Tata Motors CV was my favorite stock. I had to sell it at 490 because I got 20% very quickly. But then I have not bought back. Basically, these are cyclicals. You have to treat them as cyclicals, And right now, due to geopolitical things, the sentiment and the cycles change so fast that you have to be very, very agile. So I would say that yes, it has corrected a lot. So now it will recover with the improving geopolitical positive news and the fact that this is not going to continue for long, at least right now what market is taking like that. So it will move in line with the market sentiments in my view, but of course they have corrected a lot from their highs. So there's a good room.
Okay. Speaking of automotive, let's extend that to the automotive ancillary Bosch, because it's in the news and the initial splash seems to be that the street is looking at it relatively positively. I'm talking, of course, about the acquisition of a stake in its subsidiary to make it a wholly owned subsidiary. This is Bosch Chassis Systems. It's a pretty significant amount of money that's going to be spent. Let's go across to Puneet to understand what the implications are for the company as well as for the minority shareholders. Is it net positive, Puneet?
Well, largely seems to be at this point of time, because this business was outside the listed entity operating in India, and the parent company, which was of course Robert Bosch Netherlands in this particular transaction, has now transferred to the listed entity. So you get the listed shareholders of Bosch get access to a new and a high growth business as well under Bosch Chassis Limited, and hence could be a value accretive acquisitions in the long term. What's also interesting is they've acquired this for almost 9,000 odd crores. So it's a big acquisition for 100% stake in the company, targeting to complete this acquisition by Q1 of FY27. When you look at what the company does, of course, within the auto ancillary space, they are while the existing listed entity is into vehicle motion business, the Bosch Chassis is into the high margin braking as well as the safety vertical. So they've literally added another key vertical with this particular acquisition in the listed entity. You also, when you compare between the two entities, between Bosch Limited, which is the current listed entity, as well as Bosch Chassis, the revenue is almost 4,000 crores for the new acquired entity, with a higher margin of almost 13.9%, and a revenue CAGR between FY23 and 25 also much higher than the listed entity. So looking at it, it seems to be that the EBITDA margins will be positively impacted with this acquisition. And the other aspect is a higher content per vehicle now for Bosch going forward as well. As you rightly said, Alex, for minority shareholders, this is a key acquisition because it's done at 10 times EV to EBITDA multiple, which implies roughly around with a net worth of 1,400 odd crores for the listed entity. So a lot more to watch out for, but expecting this to be increased because pure endurance tech trades at almost 21 times in terms of the EV EBITDA multiple.
Okay, thanks for that, Puneet. Thanks for pulling that up. So, well, we discussed this briefly. I'm going to try and take a detour now and talk about a pocket of stocks or a cohort of stocks that are really strong yesterday. And of course, standard disclaimer that you're watching NDTV, which is an Adani Group entity. But guys, the rally in those stocks. Kush Bora, I'll start off with you very quickly. We just 1.5 minutes left. The swift up move yesterday and the pause today, what does an average trader do with any of those group stocks?
Two stocks very clearly stand out. If you have to take long positions, these are the two that you should consider. One is Adani Power and the other is Adani Ports. Very clear winners, from the pack. For me, the stop loss is on this one. Adani Power 160. And as far as Adani Ports goes, I think 1400 or maybe just under is a good support zone. That should act as your stop loss.
Okay, so that's with regards to Adani Group companies. We were just talking about Ashok Leyland as well. But in terms of auto, you have a Bank of America, BofA, which has upgraded a Bajaj Auto to a buy from a neutral, and their target price is 10,700 from a 10,230, so watch out for that one. JP Morgan has upgraded TVS Motors, Apollo Tyres is a downgrade to neutral, and Escorts is an upgrade to neutral from an underweight. So this entire pack continues to remain in focus as well. Kush, anything that you like from this space very quickly?
I think Escorts seems to be turning a corner. But right now, as things stand, I would give it more of a hold rather than a fresh initiation. Stop loss at the 3,000 mark.
Got it. Shrikant, 15 seconds, any stock that you have looked at in the pre-open that stands out?
Yeah, Alex, I think, steel stock should do well. And in that, we like Tata Steel. Currently, it is around 204. If there is any lower opening, it's a buy. With a stop loss close to, let's say, 200 rupees. I think this stock can again come back to the levels of 212 or 215. So steel stocks looks good. In that, Tata Steel is our preferred bet.
Well, it's a consensus buy across all three guests this morning. Fundamental, derivatives, technical as well as technical. So keep that in mind. Tata Steel and maybe steel as a bucket could do well. So bear that in mind. Here come the first rates this Thursday morning. Well, about a third of 0.5% down lower now. And I think Indian markets will be negatively correlated to crude prices, if you will. So bear that in mind. Mid caps haven't fallen as much though, which is actually a good sign. The market breadth is positive, which is not bad at all. I wonder if this is a wrong number though. Let's just get the heat map up on the screen and see what is happening with individual names. A lot of red, very little green. In fact, now 0.7% lower. So it's not a small start in the red. Let's see where it consolidates. 23,800 is the level that I heard Shrikant Chauhan say, that 700 or 800 the levels from where the Nifty could bounce back as well. What is leading lower? No surprise there, Shriram Finance comes in the list of the top losers. It's always at one end of the spectrum. There is Bajaj Finance, Adani Ports, Infosys interestingly 1.7% lower, Geofin, M&M, Ultratech. So it's not really a particular pocket that is getting hit. It's market wide, if you will. L&T down as well, Ultratech too. I wonder if there are any. Where is Tata Steel? No, we haven't quite seen a sharp move in any of the steel names as well, despite ArcelorMittal doing what it is doing. 0.3%. The winner is NTPC, and with reason, I think Alex spoke about it. BEL 0.8%, Bajaj Auto, Power Grid are amongst the others. But Alex, the takeaway seems to be that there is a bit of a pull back, and heavyweights, etc., are contributing. But 23,800 is where the Nifty seems to be kind of initially bouncing back from.
Yeah, I wonder if the second half of the session pans out the way that we've seen, not last session, in fact, the four preceding the last session, where you saw buying coming through in the second half of the session. I wonder whether today is going to be like that. Let's pull up the sectoral indices just to see how that picture is panning out, and then we'll go into individual stocks as well. More green on the screen here, and CPSE as a basket is doing okay. It was, remember, one of the laggards in trade yesterday. It's up as much as 1% or so, and so therefore I guess what did not do particularly well in that everything rally yesterday is doing well today. Metal is up about 0.6%, healthcare just about 0.5% or so. As a pack, what is not doing well, let's look at the bottom of the screen. IT ahead of the presentation of the TCS numbers, maybe some money being taken off the table in anticipation of those numbers coming through. And remember, it has actually gained quite considerably in the recent past, even when the market was not doing particularly well. Private banks taking some money off the table here as well because of the kind of run-up. You saw both ICICI as well as HDFC Bank in the top gainers for the Nifty 50 yesterday, and so too was Axis Bank. But let's take a look at individual stocks that might be standing out today, and let's pull up Bosch up front, because we've had quite a bit of a conversation about this, and the fact is that it might just be net positive for the company, and that indeed is what the street is looking at this morning as well. It's up about 2.5%. That chassis unit is likely to be value accretive for them down the line as well. Lupin has gotten a US FDA approval for diabetes drug. It is up about 0.5%. KC got a number of orders, 2,500 crore rupees. It's up and about. It's the biggest gainer that I have seen so far. And remember that the management has said very clearly that even once this West Asia situation clears up, they anticipate and they did say that they were not too happy with the geopolitical situation, but they said that they anticipate that they will get more orders for rebuilding in that region. NHPC, there's an approval for a Kamla hydroelectric project, quite a considerable amount of money to be spent here. NTPC was one of the top gainers. We already told you about that. It's holding at gains of about 1.5% or thereabouts. JTL Industries, it's an interesting one because we've got a acquisition of stake by Abacus up about 6%. Always do your own due diligence. Don't necessarily follow some of these big names when they make acquisitions though. You've got Info Edge that has come out with its quarterly update. It's down about 1.3% because that billing growth has slowed. Signature Global from the real estate pack gained 7% in trade yesterday. Let's pull that up if we possibly can because the stock was down as much as 7%. Signature Global in trade, it was up about 7% yesterday. It might be down in trade today as well. Fertilizer companies, finally, just talking about those, FACT as well as a few others are doing particularly well in trade today. I think, yeah, there you go. NFL is doing good. FACT is up about 6%. This is on account of that significant fertilizer subsidy that's come through. Yes, it's not going to completely wipe out the losses that these companies will face on the input side, but at least it will salve some of that impact or reduce some of that impact. So I don't know how much I've captured from the broader markets, Hiral, and whether you're spotting any more pops on the screen. How does it look?
Looks interesting. Honasa is one. I'm not sure if you considered that one because they've come up with their business update where you're seeing some smart moves, 8.5% coming in with regards to Honasa as well. Spicer, another one which is seeing smart moves as well. Very quickly, Shrikant, let me come to you in terms of anything that you're spotting that could be a good call in terms of the way markets have opened.
Yeah, I think, see, defense stocks, there we are seeing some recovery. Most of the stocks yesterday was in some profit-taking mode. But today, again, they are bouncing back along with the recovery in the market. In that specifically, we like two stocks, that is Hindustan Aeronautics and Bharat Electronics. But if I have to choose any one, then I would like to go with Bharat Electronics, which is around 437, 438. It is relatively much better as compared to all these stocks in the defense basket. Yes, MTAR did exceptionally well. So that is something we can say that it's an exceptional stock. But Bharat Electronics, I think, should do well. It was around 400, 420 sort of levels when there was sell-off in the market. But now it is bouncing back and again come back to the levels of maybe 460, 65. So at this level also it's a buy with a positional view. With a stop loss close to, let's say, we can keep a stop loss around 420. It's a positional buy. But we can keep a target of 465 and 475 on the higher side.
Okay, gentlemen, all of you, thank you so much for taking the time out and being with us. Really appreciate your time this morning. Well, a big market voice, Sameer Arora, founder and fund manager, Helios Capital, joins in right now. Sameer, great having you. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Hi.
And you know, Neeraj here, good morning. It's great to talk to you today, Sameer, simply because I kind of thought of what I want to ask you at the start of this, right? You've seen many such cycles, both geopolitically as well as the market behavior. Since Thursday, the markets seem to be refusing to react negatively to news. Is that telling you that the bottom formation is happening? Because obviously bottoms won't get formed when the conflict is over. Do you sense that?
Well, now the actual event is out. And so now if you think that more bad news can come, that means that President Trump is again willing to go back and have a second round, which I don't think he has the energy to do. And all he has to do, at least for now, is to control Israel's ventures into Lebanon. So I think that therefore there's no need to be negative, at least as of now. But separately, if you look at it, I think that even in Feb, particularly by Feb end, we had become quite bullish. If you remember that month, the market had massive selling in IT stocks of maybe 18-20%, and still the FI flows were net positive for the month. The currency was positive for the month, and even the market index was positive for the month, even with one sector being hit 18-20%. So this March weakness and recent weakness, you have to attribute primarily to this event. And if this event goes away, it will still leave some scars for a few more months in some sectors and maybe at a big picture level in the economy by a few basis points here or there on growth or inflation. But you'll have to say that, the 15% market correction absorbed some of those things or discounted some of those things.
The lower levels are gone though, Samir. That is one part. So lovely. Thank you for that opening answer. Now my question to you is this. If this continues to be a conflict the way Russia-Ukraine was or has been, if you will, sorry, was is a bad word, has been, but because the nature of the participants is different, does it keep the markets fragile, or do you believe, as you said, that the 15% has digested and now we want to renew?